Have you ever felt that surge of anger or anxiety take over in a moment where you know it's just not worth it? Picture this. You're in a heated argument, your heart is racing, and you feel like you're losing control. What if I told you that the most powerful people in history didn't react to their emotions, but controlled them? That's right. Emotions can either rule your life or you can rule them. This is exactly what the ancient Stoics taught us. Before we dive deeper into mastering emotional control, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to support our journey toward a stronger, more composed version of ourselves. Trust me, you'll want to stay till the end as we explore actionable strategies that can transform how you respond to emotions. Number 1. Understanding the nature of emotions. Emotions are not inherently bad or good, but powerful forces shaping our reactions and decisions. The Stoics believed that emotions arise from our judgments about external events, not the events themselves. Take, for example, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors. He faced wars, political turmoil, and personal loss. Yet he responded not with rage but rationality. When we allow our emotions to take control, we fail to separate our perceptions from reality, leading to negative reactions. Understanding this is the first step to controlling emotions. Instead of seeing emotions as uncontrollable forces, see them as natural responses to your thoughts. Once you understand that it's not the event itself, but your judgment that fuels your emotions, you begin to take responsibility for your reactions. This gives you the power to pause, reflect, and choose how to respond. The key takeaway here is awareness. Start by noticing when you're about to react emotionally. Recognize that it's your judgment at play, and you have the power to adjust your response. Number 2, the power of pause, developing a mental buffer. When emotions run high, our first instinct is often to react quickly. But Stoics emphasize the power of pausing before we act. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, often wrote about giving yourself a mental buffer to evaluate situations before reacting impulsively. This pause gives you time to assess the situation objectively. For instance, if someone cuts you off in traffic, your immediate reaction might be anger or frustration. However, if you apply the Stoic practice of pausing, you realize that their action doesn't define you. Instead of letting the anger take over, take a deep breath and remind yourself that this moment is temporary and outside of your control. That brief moment of reflection gives you the clarity to choose a calm response instead of an emotional outburst. By creating a buffer between stimulus and reaction, you gain emotional resilience. This skill can be developed with practice. Train yourself to stop before you speak, before you act, and before you decide how you feel. Number 3, reframing negative thoughts. The Stoics were masters at reframing their thoughts. Epictetus, another prominent Stoic, taught that while we can't control external events, we can control our interpretation of them. Let's say you receive harsh criticism at work. The initial emotional reaction might be hurt, embarrassment, or anger. But instead of reacting immediately, challenge your thoughts. Reframe the criticism as an opportunity for growth rather than a personal attack. Think of how the great Stoic philosophers would respond. By analyzing the criticism, they would see it not as a blow to their ego, but as a chance to improve themselves. This practice of reframing allows you to detach from your immediate emotional reaction and focus on constructive responses. The next time you're faced with a negative situation, take a step back and ask yourself, how can I see this differently? Challenge the automatic emotional response and consciously choose to shift your mindset. Number 4, practicing gratitude, shifting focus from negative to positive. When emotions run wild, it's easy to become fixated on the negative. Stoics, however, practice gratitude to help shift their focus. Marcus Aurelius famously kept a journal where he reflected on the positive aspects of his day, even amid war and turmoil. He understood that by focusing on what he could control and appreciating the small things, he could maintain his inner peace. This practice is simple but powerful. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by negative emotions, pause and think of something you're grateful for. It could be as small as a kind word from a friend, a peaceful moment in your day, or simply your ability to practice self-control. Gratitude acts as a grounding tool that helps reframe negative emotions into a more balanced perspective. Start your day by writing down a few things you're grateful for. During moments of emotional turmoil, return to this list to remind yourself that there is always something positive to focus on, no matter the situation. Number 5, embracing the Stoic virtue of acceptance. The final Stoic principle to mastering emotional control is acceptance. While we strive for emotional control, the Stoics teach us to accept that some things are simply beyond our control. This doesn't mean resignation, but rather embracing the truth that we can't change everything. For example, if you face an unexpected setback at work or in your personal life, accept the situation as it is instead of reacting with anger or frustration. Understand that while you can't control external circumstances, you have the power to control how you respond. The wisdom of the Stoics lies in their ability to detach from the need to control everything, accepting life's ups and downs with equanimity. Incorporating acceptance into your life allows you to let go of unnecessary emotional turmoil. Recognize what's within your power to change and what isn't, and choose to focus your energy on what truly matters. Number 6, understanding the role of self-awareness. Self-awareness is key to controlling emotional reactions. Without the ability to observe your emotions as they arise, you're left vulnerable to impulsive behavior. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasize the importance of understanding yourself and your internal triggers. For example, when you begin to feel angry, ask yourself, why am I angry? What thought or belief triggered this emotion? This level of awareness allows you to detach from the emotional wave and see it for what it is, a temporary state that doesn't define you. In practice, self-awareness requires honest self-reflection. Take time each day to check in with yourself. Are there recurring emotional reactions in your life? Recognize patterns, and you'll start to see how certain events or people trigger specific emotional responses. Once you understand these triggers, you can consciously decide how to respond in the future. Over time, you'll build emotional intelligence, which is crucial for mastering control over your emotions. Begin keeping a journal where you reflect on your emotional responses. This will give you a clearer understanding of yourself and help identify the thoughts or situations that tend to lead to emotional reactions. The more you observe, the more control you'll gain. Number 7, the Stoic practice of premeditation malorum, premeditation of evils. One powerful Stoic technique for emotional control is premeditation malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves mentally preparing yourself for difficult situations before they arise. By visualizing potential challenges, whether it's a difficult conversation, a stressful meeting, or an unexpected crisis, you train yourself to stay calm and composed when these situations occur in real life. Take a moment to think about your typical emotional reactions. Do you tend to become angry when faced with failure, or anxious when dealing with uncertainty? The Stoics would encourage you to mentally rehearse these scenarios in advance, imagining how you would respond with calmness and reason. By rehearsing your emotional reactions in a controlled environment, you prepare yourself to stay composed when faced with real-life challenges. For example, if you know you have a confrontation with someone coming up, spend a few minutes visualizing the interaction. Picture yourself responding calmly, without losing control. This exercise strengthens your emotional resilience and helps you remain steady under pressure. Number 8, the practice of detachment from external events. One of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy is the belief that we cannot control external events, only our reactions to them. The ancient Stoics believed that it's our attachment to certain outcomes or possessions that causes suffering and emotional turmoil. When we tie our happiness to external circumstances, Whether it's the approval of others, material success, or perfect health, we risk emotional instability. To practice detachment, consider a personal example. If you are attached to a particular outcome, such as getting a promotion, you may experience frustration or disappointment when things don't go as planned. But if you detach your emotional well-being from the outcome, you free yourself from the burden of these uncontrollable events. The Stoics would encourage you to focus on what you can control: your actions, your character, and your inner peace. This doesn't mean ignoring goals or desires. It means not letting the outcome control your emotional state. When you detach from the need for specific outcomes, you embrace the power of acceptance and peace. It's about understanding that life is unpredictable and we can't always control what happens, but we can control how we respond. Start by reflecting on areas of your life where you may be too emotionally invested in specific outcomes. Practice letting go of that attachment, and you'll notice a reduction in emotional highs and lows. Emotional freedom comes from realizing that external events don't have to dictate your happiness. Number 9. The Stoic view of Amor Fati, love of fate. The Stoic concept of Amor Fati, or the love of fate, teaches us to embrace everything that happens, whether good or bad. It's the understanding that whatever happens in life, whether it's a painful experience or a joyful one, is part of the universe's natural order. Instead of resisting what's happening, we learn to love it, accept it, and find meaning in it. This is a powerful practice for emotional control. Imagine a situation where you've been rejected from a job you really wanted. Your initial emotional response might be disappointment, frustration, or anger. However, practicing Amor Fati means choosing to accept this rejection as part of your journey. Instead of viewing it as a failure, you view it as a stepping stone to something better. The Stoics believe that life's challenges were meant to shape us, and we should embrace them fully, without resistance. When you adopt Amor Fati, you stop fighting the inevitable. Every challenge, setback, or emotional experience becomes an opportunity for growth. It's a mindset shift that frees you from the emotional turmoil of resistance. When you embrace fate, you become less attached to outcomes and more resilient in your emotional responses. To practice Amor Fati, begin by reflecting on past challenges you faced. How can you reframe those situations in a positive light? How have they contributed to your growth? Over time, this practice will help you cultivate a mindset of gratitude and acceptance in the face of adversity. Number 10. The power of self-discipline and routine. Finally, one of the most effective ways to control emotional reactions is through self-discipline and routine. The Stoics knew that to maintain emotional balance, they needed to practice self-control consistently. Self-discipline is not just about external actions, but also about controlling your internal state. The more disciplined you are in your daily habits, the more stable your emotional responses will become. For example, Marcus Aurelius had a strict daily routine. He woke up early, practiced meditation, and made time for reflection throughout the day. This consistency gave him the mental clarity needed to deal with the stress and pressure of ruling an empire. When we establish our routines, whether it's exercising, journaling, or practicing mindfulness, we train our minds to be disciplined and focused, which in turn reduces emotional volatility. Create a daily routine that incorporates practices like exercise, journaling, or deep breathing. These routines not only improve your physical health, but also sharpen your emotional resilience. The more consistent you are, the more in control of your emotions you'll feel. By building self-discipline, you condition your mind and body to be steady, no matter what life throws your way. This discipline becomes the foundation of emotional control, allowing you to remain calm and focused in the face of stress or frustration. As we've explored today, controlling emotional reactions isn't about suppressing or ignoring our emotions. It's about understanding them and choosing how to respond. The Stoic practices of self-awareness, premeditation, detachment, Amor Fati, and self-discipline offer powerful tools to master our emotions and create a life of emotional balance and resilience. Remember, emotional control is a skill that takes time to develop, but with consistent practice, you'll be able to handle even the most challenging situations with grace and composure. The next time you feel your emotions rising, take a step back, reflect on the Stoic principles we've discussed, and choose to respond in a way that reflects your inner strength and wisdom. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our journey towards a calmer, more controlled life. Keep applying these Stoic teachings, and you'll soon find yourself reacting less impulsively and living more peacefully. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.